All right. Hey, YouTube, I'm Lucky, and today is Thursday, and so that means it's time for the TWAB. And this was promised to actually be a light TWAB this week, but there's actually some really interesting stuff here, especially in regards to weaponry. Obviously, if you haven't seen already, the tower, there's taken blights there. If you haven't been following with the story, make sure to log in and get up to date on that because the story is getting really interesting. But the meat of this week's TWAB is right here. Back in January, we announced that 4 weapons from the Dreaming City and 4 weapons from the Moon were being reissued with new perk pools, but had not brought them all back yet. And our next update, currently scheduled for July 6th, so it's just around the corner here, we'll be reissuing the remaining Moon and Dreaming City weapons with new perks. All of these weapons will be dropped from the original sources on their respective destination. Here's the full list of weapons along with an example of perks they will each roll with. Really interesting stuff here. Look at all this. The Loud Lullaby, that's a 120 RPM hand cannon. We already know 120s are absolutely nasty. There could be some crazy good rolls for this thing. I'll definitely be bringing you a God rolled guide. If you look it up in light.gg right now, you actually can't see. Let me pull this up here. You actually can't see any of these new perks that are featured here. It's got tunnel vision here, but obviously it's not on the weapon yet in the API currently. But that's interesting that tunnel vision will be on it. Obviously, that's not a part of like the God roll for PvP or PvE, but obviously there's going to be other perks, I think, besides just this one new perk to it. One small step is like a 140 RPM shotgun, so it's probably not going to be in there. The Tranquility has definitely some potential, though. Tranquility is a 90 RPM. It could have something like, it has 4th times the charm. If it had 4th times the charm Vorpal, this thing would be crazy. I don't know that it'll have that. It's not promised here. It just says Frenzy, which, you know, that's not really what you're looking for on this weapon, but the fact that it could potentially have 4 times the charm of Vorpal would be really interesting to see. We'll see how good it is. Arc Logic is 600 RPM auto rifle. There could be some potentially good rolls for this overall, but overall we'll see. Time will tell. It says Heating Up is the perk it comes with, so really not the best perk overall. Dreambreaker, the fusion rifle, could be really nasty. It has Cornet on it here, but it could end up having Reservoir Burst. Obviously, I feel like they would focus on that if it did have that. I highly doubt it has Reservoir Burst, but if it did, just imagine. Okay, just imagine for a minute, right? Every Waking Moment can get Killing Wind. Love and Death, the grenade launcher, can get Chain Reaction. A Fine Memorial can get Adrenaline Junkie. I believe that's the machine gun. And the Night Terror is a sword with One for All. All right, so some interesting perks they can roll with some of these weapons. None of those perks and those weapons stand out too much until we get down. We got Tiger's Spite, which is an auto rifle. It's gonna have Frenzy. The Twilight Oath could have Vorpal, which could again be pretty crazy because this weapon did have some pretty decent perks. We got Triple Tap. You could have Vorpal. Who knows what other perks will be on this weapon right now? Obviously, we can't see. It doesn't have Vorpal at this point in time. But the fact that it will now have Vorpal will be really interesting. I don't know. That might even be the only 140 RPM sniper in the game that has Vorpal. You have to double check me on that. But I think that might be the only one. Which will be really crazy because these 140s actually have immense amount of damage output. So keep that in mind. These things are actually super beast for doing boss damage. And then next up, we've got Abide the Return, which will be the sword. We'll have Thresh on it. So some interesting weapons to look forward to. Obviously, if there's any God rolls worth chasing out there, I will be bringing you God roll guides and how to get these weapons fast and efficiently. Along with that, they announced that Iron Banner is coming back next week. And yeah, it was here just like 2 weeks ago. By the time it comes back out, it will have been 2 weeks ago, I believe. So for some reason, they're doing like almost an extra rotation of Iron Banner. And then this will be the second to last Iron Banner for the entirety of the season. So keep that in mind if you want to get out there and get that God rolled Riz Walker, or if you want to get that Steady Hand. Make sure to get in there and beat those bounties and get some Iron Banner loot. And that's pretty much it for the TWAB. Let me know in the comment section below which weapons are you most excited for. There is a list of known issues, and I know sometimes people have issues in the game and they want to know if it's being addressed by Bungie, so make sure to look through those. If you're interested, if you're having some bugs when you're playing Destiny 2. Myself, personally, there's a few different weapons I'm really excited for. Obviously, Loud Lullaby. I mean, whether you love or hate the 120 RPM hand cannon meta right now, Loud Lullaby being here and having a new 120 getting interjected into the sandbox is exciting. I would love for it to have some crazy different perks, maybe a different playstyle to go along with it. We'll see. Who knows? And maybe some of these other weapons will surprise us. Maybe some of these off-meta weapons will actually be really, really good. There's definitely potential here for any and all of these weapons to have crazy good rolls. It just requires what type of perk combinations Bungie wants to choose for them. So that's a wrap on this video, though. Make sure to subscribe with notifications on if you want to stay up to date on all the news in Destiny 2. Smash the like button. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.